Does that still have the tag on the bottom? Wow. How embarrassing. All right. Anyways. Okay, so yesterday I was trying to be an adult, adulting. And I was trying to get ahead on spring cleaning, which TBH is a really bad idea because I'm not supposed to be cleaning anyways. It makes me swell, but whatever, I was trying. So I'm going through all of these boxes that are stored in our apartment. Those who know me well know that I have closets upon closets upon closets of things like this, different medical creations, garments, devices, all kinds of things that I have stored forever. So I'm going through all of these boxes and I'm trying to downsize, right? I'm trying to get rid of old things that I'm never gonna use anymore or things that have lost their structural integrity. And I'm not a very sentimental person. It's not that difficult for me to get rid of things. But then I got to these packages of Xeroform that were in this box under my bed. And I'm staring at these packages of Xeroform, trying to find an expiration date, right? Because if there's an expiration date that's telling me I need to get rid of these things, then I can get rid of them. But I can't find an expiration date. Now, there were numbers on those packages, but unless those little packages of Xeroform expire in year 3025, I don't think those numbers were the expiration date. So I'm staring at this Xeroform, trying to decide if I keep it or if I throw it away. Now, if you don't know what Xeroform is, Google it. It's really kind of this color. These little pieces of Xeroform almost look like alcohol prep pads. But they're that shade of yellow and they have this particular scent. As I'm talking about Xeroform, I can smell it. And I called my mom and I told her what I was doing. I knew she'd be proud, that I'm downsizing and getting rid of old things. And I said, Mom, I'm staring at these packages of Xeroform and I can't get rid of them. I can't throw it away. About a year ago, I was with my lymphedema therapist, my bestie for the resty, best friends for life. We were talking and I was talking about Xeroform, the scent of Xeroform. And I said, to me, Xeroform smells like home. It smells like my childhood. It is the scent of my childhood. And my lymphedema therapist said, yeah, that's how you know you grew up in the hospital, right? When Xeroform is this comforting scent that brings back all of these memories. And you see, each of us have those things in our life that we don't want to get rid of, or these experiences that significantly shaped us, that we remember so well. And we don't want to let go of those things, right? At Christmas time, my sisters and I were going through a bunch of Christmas things from my mom's attic, and we came across this train from our childhood, and each of us wanted it. So of course we decided that we'll pass it along from sister to sister each year, but none of us wanted to get rid of that train. It means too much to us. It's part of our story as a family. Xeroform is part of my story as a lifelong complex patient. When I think of Xeroform, I think of particular surgeons that shaped me in more ways than one, right? Not only shaped me physically, but shaped my interests, shaped how I think about myself and my life, and shaped how I navigate the world. And you see, it's pieces of my story like that that most people don't know about, right? There are very few people that know how much Xeroform means to me. It's one of those things that's kind of hidden in the darkness of my life. But I think it's always really beautiful to take something like that, something that's in the shadows, and to bring it into light. And to say, yeah, Xeroform, it reminds me of surgery, it reminds me of pain, it reminds me of the difficulties of not just my childhood, but my entire life. But it also reminds me of the people who have been there, the people who placed the Xeroform on me. That's a beautiful thing. And I typically get to share those types of things through writing. If you have followed along with my life at all in the last 5 or so years, you know that I have a blog where I write about my life with Clove syndrome. Sometimes I write articles for online magazines where I talk about my life as a lifelong patient and how that has shaped and influenced my theology and my perspective on life. Maybe you even have some knowledge of me in my life from some podcasts that I've been able to do, or some interviews with rare disease organizations that I've been part of. But in most of those endeavors where I sought to share my life with you, I was writing. And those who know me really, really well know that in the last few years, I have frequently struggled with hand and arm function, and at times completely lost hand function in particular, and been unable to write, and people have had to feed me and bathe me and clothe me. And it's becoming increasingly difficult to write. I'm a student, I'm finishing up my master's, hoping to get my PhD. Writing is a thing that I do, and I'm having to figure out new ways to do it. I'm having to think about how to function in a classroom when I'm swelling and I need to type notes, but my hands are hurting horribly bad, or I physically can't use them. I'm having to think about how to turn in papers, how to pin papers if I can't physically type them. And voice technology is we're frenemies. I'll just say that. Voice technology and I, frenemies. So anyways, as much as I love to share my life, it's becoming increasingly difficult. And so I think I've decided that for the next little bit, for the foreseeable future, I am going to try to share my life with you through video, through pictures, through outlets that don't require me to use my hands and arms as much. I think I'll try to post a video to my blog about every other week or so, just kind of letting you into my life and bringing some of those things in the shadows to light. So if you want to follow along, you can subscribe to my blog, or you can check it every couple of weeks and see if I have posted new vlogs, new updates. Feel free to contact me if there are particular questions that you would like for me to address in these videos. But most importantly, I hope one thing that you get from this is that the beauty of letting people into your life and the beauty of sharing your story, especially the dark parts of your story with other people, is that they get to know you better. And my hope and my prayer is that as we get to know one another better, we cultivate empathy and a disposition of compassion. That is my prayer for myself. That is my prayer for you.